November the 30th, public sector general strike as part of the campaign to defend public sector pensions and also to fight against the massive job losses that are taking place. We're going to QEQM Hospital.
How do you feel about how the government's behaving towards the unions?
Well, I think it's really unfair to all public sector workers, and we've just got to make a stand.
We're here to support our civil servant, public sector comrades and to try and really protect our pensions, but it's not just about that, it's about all the cuts that are going on at the moment. We're very concerned because there's lots of welfare cuts, housing benefit cuts that are being proposed. We're losing jobs left, right and centre. We've had a pay freeze for the last 2 years and we've just been informed we've got another pay freeze. So really it's about saying we think that we've made a contribution to the deficit, that there are alternative ways of making that deficit up.
Have lots of people gone in then?
No, not really, hardly any. Less than have ever gone in.
Well, a brilliant cricket day. We've had plenty of people support, local public, giving out leaflets, etc, etc, and it's been a brilliant morning so far. So we think today is really successful. So we're hoping, obviously, that the government will take notice of this massive strike that's happening today and see sense. But we're talking about Tories, so the likelihood is that they won't see sense. But we'll continue fighting until we win the day. The Trades Council.
Do you want to tell me why you're here?
Because everyone else is for the pension, isn't it? And to stop all the stuff. If you give in to one thing, you'll be giving in to everything.
Well, it's going really well today. For us, this office, all the staff are out on strike, and it's being run basically by 2 senior managers who've had to come in from other areas. We've got our office in Canterbury again. A majority of people, over 90%, are out on strike there. It's being run by a minimum number of staff and managers. And we just hope the government listens to what we and the public are saying about services.
Any councillors been in?
No.
A local resident has just come up with bags full of sausage rolls from the local butchers. It's saying it takes some bottle to stand up to this government. He said, and I support what you're doing. Now that's really nice from a member of the public. I'm really pleased about that. Just a little thing.
Yeah.
I'm fine, mate.
Sausage roll? Can I offer you a sausage? Anybody want a sausage roll?
You're GMB?
GMB, yep.
What do you do in the council?
I'm a road sweeper. I'm using a new machine at the moment on the road sweeping, a new hoover for the council. So, all testing everything out in Ramsgate. So yeah, it's all going well at the moment.
What are you hoping to get out of the strike?
Well, mainly to get the government to listen, show that it can't be pushed around and, well, get what we deserve really. You know, we work for the council, we work hard and we should be shown that.
Who gave you the cake?
The union. It's very nice.
How many people have gone in?
How many people? Work?
Yeah.
I think there's about 4 or 5. Not many. Good turnout down here. Brilliant.
It's a which side are you on moment, really, isn't it? Anyone in a workplace has got to decide today whether they take their manager's side or they take the collective side of the people they work with. And it looks, you know, even in a place like Thanet, that people have generally decided to stick with their colleagues. Which, we saw someone being turned away from going into work, not by intimidation, but by someone putting a simple argument that you've got to make a stand.
Do you want tea or coffee?
Tea, please. I'm taking part because I believe that we need to say no to the government with the cuts.
I'm striking because in the teaching profession it's unreasonable to work till 68. We're not going to encourage the top graduates they want into teaching if we're going to make them work longer and earn less money, and I've got to pay more out of my pension, which is the only extra I'm paying is going to go off to pay a deficit which we didn't cause in the first place. So hopefully we can make them pay attention.
Do you think we can stop the cuts?
I think we can stop the cuts because, and don't listen when they say it costs the country too much money. It didn't cost too much money when we all had a day off for a royal wedding and everything else. No, strike until we get you right.
I just came here because I want to support my colleagues. I just feel very, very, very strongly about the fact that we've been lied to and are actually, in fact, being bullied into paying extra that we shouldn't be paying, bearing in mind that there's supposedly a huge amount in the pension pot which is not being paid out. Where is it?
It makes me really angry when people say that they can't afford to pay our pensions, because when you see the banks setting aside hundreds of millions of pounds for their bonuses this year, and we're not talking about our pensions are stretching on for 20, 30 years, their bonuses are this year. And the Barclays Bank has set aside £100 million to pay, I don't know how many people, 100 people, £1 million each? It's just absolutely obscene.
Whose fault would you say it is?
Oh, personally, I think it's the super rich. I think it's the speculators in the City of London that, and particularly in America, that have brought us to this stage. So I think that's where you should be looking for the solution, and not amongst ordinary working people.
It's gone very well indeed. In terms of support, I think there's quite a few people came out, but we had a lot of people turn up at the picket line, really just to express support in a lot of ways. We also had a lot of support from public going past. I think that was one of the things that really encouraged us, is the fact that we were getting hoots and waves and cheers, every couple of minutes, and we've definitely got public support for this.
I was expecting some of my parents perhaps might come back to me and say, come on, this isn't fair, you shouldn't be doing this, but none of them did.
The government is saying, the strikers are being irresponsible and that they're just costing the country money. What do you say to that?
Well, they would, wouldn't they? They're the Tories, they're just after their rich friends, and if they use some of the money that they had been used to bail out the banks, or if they started to tax bankers' bonuses, we might be in a much better position.
It annoys me that there are a few people from Eton that are running our country at the moment who know nothing about poverty. They just see this as a little, if we knock off this little percentage off people's pensions, we can make billions for our friends in the banks, and they laugh about it and they have their wonderful slap-up dinners on it. And I think working people are beginning to realise that. We're beginning to realise that we're being mocked here.
I am a teacher and I have got a young family, 3 children. And I just don't think it's right what's happening to our pensions in the long run, but there again I'm not going to retire for 30 years, so that's not my main concern. My big concern is the 3% increase that I'm going to be paying every month, and I can't afford it with 3 young children and we haven't had a pay rise, and so I'm probably going to have to opt out of the pension scheme, which means I'm not going to have a pension.
And this is a big political argument. This is bigger than just our pensions, because what the government's trying to do here, they're trying to set capitalism up as the way forward, and it clearly isn't, because it isn't benefiting the majority of people. And England is one of the countries with the biggest difference between rich and poor, and it's time for us to stand up and say this is wrong, and I think that's what we're doing.
Do you feel that there are wider issues involved here than just pensions?
I think pensions have proved a successful focus for us all, and I want to impress on people the idea of a pension poverty, because that's what's coming. I think I'm heartened that so many people who have never been on strike before, and of course unions who in the past have said they would never go on strike, have this time, because this is an important issue.
All we can do is just try and make our point by withdrawing our labour. That's all we have left. And most of the people I speak to, I have a sister, she's never been on strike before, she's on strike today. She's gutted, she's really upset about it, but she can see no other way of trying to get her point across.
You know, I don't know anyone who's able to save for their old age, but the pension is our savings. You see, that's the deal we've come with, and that's what we've always been told. And when you've started on a road and you've been promised something and you've paid into it for years, to be told, oh, sorry, we're going to change the rules now, it just seems absolutely wrong.
We're losing normal working people, people claiming benefits, people looking for work. We are losing ground that we've made up in the last 30 years, and we're being told that it's because of a deficit, and I think that's a lie. So I'm hoping that it will give other people confidence. It seems to be that, you know, it's people in Greece, people in Italy, people in America, people in St Paul's, people are prepared to stand up.
So it's the whole system really?
Yeah, I don't think that you can get the kind of, redistribution of wealth, equality, and you can't address the kind of merciless sort of drive for profit and destruction of the natural environment and global inequality by just defending a public sector. I think we need to ask bigger questions than that.
These young people that are growing up at the moment, they're seeing this sharp contrast, the choice between greed and arrogance and people working together, and I think they're making the right decisions.
I get the impression that it wasn't people standing there miserably on a picket line, it was people there suddenly feeling 10 feet tall, you know, compared to usual, because they're standing up for something. And you had tax inspectors, local authority workers, people who swept the roads, people that work in the offices, all together. No one was more important than another. It shows the potential for people changing what everyone else considers the way things have to be. You know, they don't have to be as bad as the government is saying.